And even though like comedy also kind of has to be like an escape from reality so we could kind of laugh and whatever.
Yeah.
I think at the same time, Dave Chappelle recognized, fam, this is not the time to have people escape what we're in right now. Like, this is a crucial time for everybody to really like zone in and realize and educate themselves on what's been going on in this country for a long time and what needs to change. Because it's not like Dave Chappelle couldn't make a joke. Like he's a comedian. He could have made any joke.
Yeah,
exactly. So to me, I'm like, fam, this guy purposefully like was like, yo, nobody's gonna be escaping this moment. I'm gonna have these people listen to what I have to say because, fam, we're in I think an unprecedented time right now where everybody is kind of in unison in a way. Like, yo, there's something needs to change. Like,
exactly.
yeah,
I'm being either side. People are in unison about what's going on and everything. And not only is he a great comedian, he's also like, I like to think that he's like a storyteller. So like all comedians are storytellers. They're telling the story of what's happening around them, and they're just observing and picking apart activities that they can use for their humor and to give to the audience. So what he's doing is just relaying a story, and the amount of passion and the amount of you could see the anger that he had when he kept on repeating the 8 minutes 40 seconds. You can see really got to him. It wasn't laughing matter. He did a couple quips here and there that were a bit funny, but from what mostly I saw was just he was trying to educate people, and what better way to do it than to do it through a comedy special where people would watch one of the greatest comedians alive through a free platform like YouTube, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like the fact that it was on YouTube, so literally everybody can access it. And honestly, for me, this special right here solidified that Dave Chappelle's a legend to me. Because honestly, even earlier on, I wasn't really into Dave Chappelle till his last special had happened. Like Gilbert got me into it. I'm like, yo, this guy's kind of sick. And then this for me solidified it because I don't think anybody could have addressed it the way he addressed it in that special. Like also the fact that it's like the title is like 8:46, and it's also I think the time he was born at too at 8:46 a.m.
A lot of coincidences.
Like that's some sorcellerie thing, fam. I don't know what that is, but that's crazy. But he was literally like, I don't think anybody could have addressed it the way he addressed it, and for him to be able to do that and to be able to do it so effectively solidified him to me as a legend and a GOAT. Like, simply.
He's one of the best at doing social commentary because as well as his comedy, not that many people can steal his jokes from him because they're so personal, they're so out there and from a different point of view that you can't just take his jokes and say it in an open mic and people will laugh because it doesn't really have like the charge behind it, the weight behind it that he tells his jokes and he tells things how he sees it. So he's just really good at that. That's why he's one of the
and
goals.
Also the fact that it was outdoors. Like I know a lot of comedians, they're like, yo, outdoor comedy is the worst. Like, because you're really trying to keep people focused on what you're saying and the like comedy or whatever topic you're trying to address, but at the same time you're outdoors, so many distractions. People, even fam, they were literally socially distancing. Like they had the thing on the floor, people were far from each other. The thing about comedy is you want people to be close, you want the sound of their laughter or whatever reaction they have, you want it to be enclosed. But the fact that he did this outdoor and he did it so well, bro.
Yeah, he fully said that, like, I don't expect to hear any laughing. I just want to say what I think, like what's on his mind, basically. He's kind of like venting also in a form. And you could tell like his family was in the crowd too. They're handing out masks, also because not that many comedians could even have the audacity to try and perform an outdoor comedy set in the middle of a global pandemic and expect it to do numbers that he did. You know, it's all around. Shout out to Netlfix for doing it too.
All right, now we're gonna show like 3 videos, and we're gonna kind of talk about them because I think for me those are the 3 biggest moments. Like these moments, some of these moments just gave me chills.
All these fucking police had their hands in their pockets Who are you talking to? What are you signifying? That you can kneel on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Mukhtar, that moment, how did you, like, initially when you saw it, what was your reaction to it?
It kind of brought up the anger that I felt when I initially watched the video. Like, you can't really put into, like, you can't really see how long 8 minutes is until you put on a stopwatch and go through. Because when you're watching something, 8 minutes doesn't feel like that much. But when somebody's standing on your neck for 8 minutes, it must feel like a lifetime. And one point that I really thought was interesting was he brought up the fact that the other cops were duplicit and they didn't do anything to intervene. I know one of them mentioned something like, "Hey, this is enough," but his voice wasn't loud enough for any action to be taken into account. And I guess that's what he's really trying to bring into the forefront, is the fact that if you don't raise your voice to injustices happening around you, then you are no better than the people causing the injustices. So in his mind, he's just really angry about that, and like trying to, just the number that he keeps on repeating is going to singe into people's mind and make them think about how long it really is, and how long the police officer continued to do his actions.
Yeah, you actually, like, as you're just talking right now, you actually made me think about, like, in the Dave Chappelle special, like, I thought about how long 8 minutes and 46 seconds was, but as you're talking about it, like, it just had me thinking, like let's say you do any physical sports, you're running or whatever, and the distance you have to cover, let's say it's the last, let's say 5 minutes, even 10 minutes or whatever, like, those are the longest minutes of your life, because
Exactly.
you are literally gasping for air, you're tired, at some points you're sore. Like, when you're in pain, like, time is so slow.
True. And
Like,
plus there's
so
two other people on his body like that are in the view of the camera. So it's just like 8 minutes is like, some people run a mile in 8 minutes, and a lot of people can tell you how long a mile is. And just imagine that time of somebody fully like blocking your airways and just have no regard for human life.
And yeah, like, the fact that, like, I've never watched a special from a comedian, or I never heard a comedian speak where I felt the type of I felt when he screamed, like, the 8 minutes 46 seconds. Like, I've never felt that. I was just like, damn, like, it's like, but like, that really visualizes it. And I think about how much of an impact that's gonna have on people, like, that didn't even really, that people that try to that have the another opinion on the murder of George Floyd. I think that's really gonna be an amazing visual, because to me, even me, I was already so disgusted by the murder of George Floyd, but even for me, that impacted me so hard. I think about how much it's gonna impact the people that were on the other side of the discussion as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes the best messenger is people that you don't expect the message to come from. So people will see Dave Chappelle as a comedian, levity. No matter what, he's always going to give a good laugh. But when you watch a special and then you see that what he's saying is no laughing matter, that'll get some people to really ponder and think about the decisions that affect other people's lives, and he's trying to create empathy, which is like one of the most driving factors of this movement right now. Just putting yourself in other people's shoes.
Now let's get into the next moment, where also, like, this was funny, but it was also such a real reality, because I'm like, damn, this is literally the moment we're living in right now with the social media activism and everything.
Celebrity, answer me. Do you want to see a celebrity right now? Do we give a f what Ja Rule thinks? Does it matter about celebrity? No. This is the streets talking for themselves.
He's right.
Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah, him calling out Ja Rule is funny. It's like, I feel like Ja Rule is the butt of so many jokes and stuff.
I didn't even think of him. This guy said Ja Rule. I'm like, Ja Rule.
It's like the perfect president at the air. It's like nobody wants to hear from Ja Rule.
Literally.
Hilarious. I remember I was watching CNN that night, I was in Toronto when most of like the round the clock coverage was happening, and I was on the couch with my parents, and we were watching him calling out like Dave Chappelle, Oprah, and a bunch of other celebrities. But I understand also Dave Chappelle's point of view. Also, it's because like from one thing we've learned within the past few weeks, the past few months, is that the point of view of celebrities coming from a point of privilege isn't really what people want to hear when they're having tough goings in their life. So for example, like during the pandemic when people made that Imagine video and just clowned the hell out of all the celebrities singing Imagine. It's like the thought of people trying to, I don't know, it's just like it's not always the best thing to hear from somebody coming from a point of privilege, being like, it's okay, don't worry about it, we're all fine. So I understand where he's coming from, and he wanted to let there was an avid criticizer of like injustices, and I guess his special speaks for itself, that like he knows what's going on and is not really turning a blind eye, but just letting it run its course and supporting it from a person that is with the people instead of somebody that is supposed to be considered above due to celebrity status.
And I'm also thinking, like, honestly, you watch that video and you watch the protest that's happening around the world, and your first thought is, yo, I want to know what this celebrity thinks about this moment. Like, no, there's so much more like emotions and things happening. Like, my first thought isn't, what does this celebrity think about this? Like, to be honest, I really do not care, because throughout, as you said, the pandemic and even right now, like, been pretty tone deaf on what's happening. Like, they had recently, but Bear actors got together and made a video saying, I am the problem. No. Like, it was just, it's like, this is not like, yes, okay, you're addressing what you feel is your privilege or etc. But it's like, I don't know, this video is not helpful, man. It's like, people need action, and these things are very tone deaf to me. And this thing that she's made, like, everybody's so short-sighted. They have really short-term memory. Dave Chappelle, since his comedy skits, has always addressed this, and in his special he's also addressed this. So because he doesn't talk about this specific moment, does that mean that like he's not paying attention, or he doesn't care, or he has no opinion? Nah, man, he's been doing it for so long. Like, I don't like this thought that everybody's so like, if you don't talk about this right now, then you don't care about the issue. Make sure you address that to specific people. Don't address it to every celebrity, because some celebrity have been doing more work while being silent than the people that make bare noise and don't do no work.
Yeah, it's all about accountability. I also like putting myself in the shoes of the celebrity. Imagine somebody comes to you trying to make a video. You can't really say no, right?
Oh, that's
because you wanna make this video about for the Black Lives Matter movement. You're not gonna be like, nah. So it's like, this
guy doesn't care, man.
Yeah, it's just like, because either way, it's like you'd rather have your stance known than have no stance at all, just to not try to offend anyone. And that can be said for the good or bad, because like knowing where people are in a certain scenario is always best, because you can sort of try to make your point across. So no matter what they do, they're gonna do the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think the main thing that people want, though, is they want like just pure intentions. Like, if you have a good intentions in what you're doing, then what you're doing is fine. But if your intentions come off you being scared of retaliation or whatever, then it's like, bro, then do you really care about what you're saying, or are you doing it to like fulfill your quota, etc.? And people are getting mad at brands and etc. because they're like, you're just posting black screen and they're keeping it moving. Even some have started deleting the black screen because it's not Blackout Tuesday no more, fam. So exactly. So it's like, in moments like these, it's like, yo, it's just, you want both celebrities and leaders to actually have good intentions and to not be trying to, I don't know I forgot what was the word, like co-opt co-opt the movement. Is that the word?
Yeah,
Like you don't
push
want
forward
that.
the right message. It's like, well,
Exactly. Let's get into the last video, which is one of my.
And he's drug addict, and he's not a hero. And why does the black community make him a hero? Why do you choose him as a hero? We didn't choose him. You did. They killed him, and that wasn't right. So he's the guy.
Like I think out of like everything that's been going on and just the response to the protests and the murders of George Floyd and others, like that is the thing I think that cheeses me the most, because it takes away from the conversation that we're talking about here, because it's like, so because somebody has a huge rap sheet and whatever and has done some stuff, like it's like because of that then it's justified to kill him in such manner. People aren't looking at the guy's rap sheet. We're looking at the way he was treated in that moment. Was that moment specifically, was that justified? Like the way he died, was that justified? Period. No, it wasn't. So when people like Candace Owens do videos like this, and others have also done it, it's like, bro, can you get back to what we're talking about specifically? Stop trying to bring out a rap sheet. Like it's like, to me, it's like they're trying to prove a point so bad that they don't even look at the issue at hand. Just because they want to prove their point. Like,
they just want to make everything seem that all actions were justified. Like same thing with Breonna Taylor. There's no conceivable way that a person should end their life or should lose their life in that sort of scenario. Even regardless of their past, like they're a human being. You shouldn't, like, people life should be cherished to the fullest, and you can't really take advantage of someone's life and then trying to make excuses after while bringing up their past, bringing up the past offenses and everything. It's just disservicing the person's life, and it's trying to take away from people taking action on why that person died. So
yeah, and it's like, bro, like his point about, he was like, yo, we're not looking for heroes, and Candace Owens was like, yo, why is this guy the hero or held as a martyr? Because that's the least we can do.
Yeah.
Because of the way he was killed. That's the least we could do, because regardless of his past or whatever, he didn't deserve to die in that manner and in that way. So this is the least we can do. So yeah, that's my take on that. You have any final words on this?
No, I was just going to reiterate that I feel like this is a perfect thing that Chappelle could have done at the moment to bring awareness and to people who have not been following, if there have been people who haven't, but also to just reiterate the fact that this is a movement that we, at the end of the day, have to elicit change out of, and it's not just we can't allow it to just fall back into the background, and we just have to keep going forward with it.